Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, a notorious Gainesville murder case, what police discovered in the murderer's prison cell Wednesday.
Plus, national orders causing local backlash. Budget cuts from the Trump administration are eating into funding for hungry kids.
And a severe weather outbreak is setting up across the Midwest and into the South. I'll show you just how strong these storms are and how they'll impact your weekend. First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
We're learning more about the sudden death of convicted murderer Pedro Bravo. He died while serving a life sentence for the death of a UF student more than a decade ago. This is WUFT's First at 5. I'm Roches.
And I'm Nicole Borman. Bravo died in a South Florida prison cell. WUFT's Jada Roches read through the state attorney's announcement and joins us live in the studio. Jada, you're learning more about Bravo's death and detail his crimes that rocked the North Central Florida community.
In 2014, Bravo was convicted of killing University of Florida student Christian Aguilar. Our sister station in Miami, where the two are from, reports that Bravo died from suicide, but that hasn't been confirmed by authorities yet. Bravo and Aguilar were two close friends, but things started going downhill when prosecutors say Aguilar started dating Bravo's ex-girlfriend. He poisoned and beat Aguilar, dumping his body in Levy County. He was sentenced to life without parole. Bravo was in the midst of appealing when his body was found in his cell Wednesday night. The press release goes on to say recently he was charged on multiple counts, including racketeering, perjury or lying under oath, and tampering with a witness in a capital proceeding. He was in prison for a decade when he finally spoke out about the crimes and case. Just 1 year ago, he showed optimism about what he called a draining process.
And after all this time, we almost gave up, but we decided to give everything a last chance.
Bravo's family was notified of his passing. His cause of death remains under investigation despite speculation. Bravo was set to appear in an Alachua County courtroom next week to face these new charges. And then Christian Aguilar's family has declined to comment on Bravo's death out of respect for his family. Live from the newsroom, Jada Roches, WUFT News.
Now taking a look at our DOT camera at Paynes Prairie, it's a beautiful day out. It's really starting to look like springtime again with those blue skies and green grasses, but the nice weather is not set to last for long. UF forecaster Matthew Clark is tracking the storms we are expecting into the weekend.
Yeah, those storms are already starting, and there is a widespread moderate risk spanning all the way from Jackson, Mississippi, all the way up through central Iowa. It's just a large area of severe weather possible. Hurricane force winds, baseball size hail, and strong tornadoes are possible. Some of those storms have already started firing up in parts of Kansas City. Very strong storms with severe thunderstorm warnings and a watch already for parts of western Missouri. That system is going to start to move its way towards us through Sunday. But right now, though, it's a beautiful spring day, such as Mars said. 81 degrees. We're feeling pretty warm. Getting some winds from the south. 82 down in Ocala, 82 down in the Villages. Just a beautiful day right now. A little bit warmer today than it was yesterday. And we're going to continue to warm up, and those severe storms are going to come. And I have more on a high-risk day, a rare high-risk day, in a few minutes.
As the cold fronts fade, Alachua County is shifting focus to the upcoming hurricane season, but this time with a focus on an often overlooked community. The 4th annual Alachua County Emergency Preparedness Exposition centered the needs of people with disabilities. In 2023, Alachua County had over 5,800 residents with an independent living disability, which is about 3% of the population. Event organizer Kevin Tolles says it's crucial to emphasize the disabled community in these conversations.
Have people with disabilities, they do not know there's resources out there. This event helps them out with our local community partners.
In June, events like this help the community make all the necessary preparations beforehand. 2 other events are scheduled in Marion County on March 25th and in Putnam County on April 24th.
And with the next hurricane season right around the corner, Floridians are still recovering from some pretty brutal storms. Florida Representative Kat Cammack is holding a press conference in Cedar Key and Horseshoe Beach this Tuesday. She'll join FEMA Administration Cam Hamilton to discuss damages from recent hurricanes and the impacts these storms had on Florida's coastal communities.
Over $1 billion. That's the amount schools and local food banks around the country lost this week following budget slashes from the Trump administration. Food for Kids, a North Central Florida nonprofit, feeds children this spring break, but it might need help in the future. 35-pound boxes. could sustain 650 families over spring break, according to Food for Kids Executive Director Margot DeCana.
They can get that car repaired so they can get to work, and they don't have to make that really agonizing decision between whether they're going to pay that bill or whether they're going to feed their children.
Alachua, Levy, Dixie, and Bradford County families rely on the Food for Kids backpack program. In light of the USDA cuts, DeCana says the 1,400 kids served will increase.
Our community and our really generous supporters are going to have to step up even more to make sure that we can continue to meet the needs, because all kids deserve to be fed.
Farmers in Iowa say the lack of funding will also increase the money lost.
So we're looking at a $11.3 million loss that's actually turns into closer like $100 million loss for Iowa.
For now, communities will
take care of one another and make sure that kids have what they need to be good students, and it starts with having their bellies full.
Food for Kids packed boxes for Dixie and Levy counties to pick up for their spring break. Families participating can pick them up at schools.
A skateboarder took a deadly fall Thursday night. Lake City police responded to a call about an injured person on Northeast Washington Street. They found the skateboarder badly injured after falling off an electric skateboard. The skateboarder died shortly after police arrived.
A home caught fire this morning in Marion County. Firefighters got the call around 1 a.m. to a neighborhood in Ocklawaha. When they got to the house, the fire had burned through the roof, and just look at the height of those flames. It took nearly 40 firefighters and 4 water tankers to put out the fire. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Spring break season is approaching, and Governor Ron DeSantis is making efforts to ensure the safety of Floridians and visitors during this time. While living in the Sunshine State comes with its perks, the high influx of visitors and traveling can impact resident safety. With that in mind, Governor DeSantis is already deploying Florida Highway Patrol to assist with now through April, and will continue to direct law enforcement agencies to local organizations following last year's efforts with more than 140 state troopers deployed across the state.
Coming up on First at 5, we have a look at how Gainesville stacks up in keeping money in your pocket.
Plus, the Budweiser Clydesdales are back in town. We'll let you know where you can get to see these magnificent horses up close after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
You've been saving a pretty penny if you live in Gainesville. The cost of living is 5% under the national average, and leaders are working to make the city even more affordable. From groceries to healthcare, Gainesville has lower costs across the board. The UF Office of Professional Development says housing costs are 9% less than the national average. Mayor Harvey Ward says the city is making strides toward lowering costs, furthering so more people can live comfortably.
Just this past week, we broke ground on some affordable housing in East Gainesville.
As the population grows, Mayor Ward says the city will continue to work on keeping housing costs down.
The world-famous Budweiser Clydesdale horses will be on display in downtown Ocala this weekend. You'll have 2 chances to get up close and personal with these giant horses. They'll make their grand appearance at Live Oak International tomorrow at noon. Then they'll kick off the St. Patrick's Day celebration on Monday as they parade downtown with their iconic red beer wagon. The parade will start in the Ocala Downtown Market and make a loop around Downtown Square. Parade watchers are encouraged to find a spot at Citizen Circle to watch.
Future moms and dads, you still have time to attend what Marion County officials are calling the world's greatest baby shower. The sessions at the Mary Sue Rich Center have already kicked off. They include games, prizes, and a scavenger hunt. The second session is happening right now until 7 tonight. Pre-registration is not required, and parents of infants up to a year old are also invited.
A severe weather outbreak is expected across much of the United States. I'm timing out this system and how it will impact your weekend plans after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
SpaceX is hoping to get the next International Space Station crew off the ground tonight.
That's right, Mar. The 4 astronauts were supposed to take off Wednesday, but the launch was scrapped over technical issues with the ground support arm. This marks yet another delay for 2 stranded astronauts trying to come home. Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams have spent more than almost 10 months in space. for a trip that was only supposed to last a few days. Once the new crew gets to the space station, SpaceX will prepare a return flight for Butch and Suni. If launch conditions for today's flight aren't ideal, a backup launch time is set for tomorrow night.
Nicole, I hope they get home soon and safe.
I agree. Hopefully the weather conditions today and possibly tomorrow won't impact that. What are you looking at, Matthew?
Yeah, today and tomorrow are going to be fine for them. Sunday is when that severe weather is going to push through. But right now we are enjoying another spring day here in Florida. It's quite nice outside, actually. A couple clouds in the sky, those blue skies overhead. We actually broke 80 degrees today, 81 right now over our campus cam. Getting some winds from the southeast at around 13 miles per hour. So getting a little bit of warm air moving into our area as we head into the later parts of tonight. 82 in Ocala right now, 82 in Crystal River, almost 82 across the entire west coast, and then in the 70s over on the east coast of Florida. It's just a beautiful night to kick off our weekend. Temperatures, though, not going to drop too much as we head into tonight. You know, we've been waking up in the 40s, upper 40s the past couple days. Look at that. We're going to be waking up in the lower 60s tomorrow. Going to be much more warm and much more humid, and that's because of this low pressure system. This is a very deep low pressure system bringing in just a ton of warm, moist air. And right now, a couple storms are already starting to fire up. Plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings. A tornado watch has just been issued for a lot of Missouri right now, and some severe thunderstorm warnings already firing up in this warm sector of this low pressure system. So because of that, moderate risk has been expanded all the way from Jackson, Mississippi, all the way north through Iowa. A lot of cities, St. Louis, Memphis, and Jackson are included in this severe risk today. Those storms are going to really start to flare up as we head into tonight. St. Louis being a major city in that. Look at these strong storms. Look at these dark purples. These are very strong thunderstorms bringing in baseball-size hail and possible long tracking tornadoes tonight. And then tomorrow, a very rare high-risk day. This is a once-a-year situation spanning in from Jackson all the way through parts of central Alabama. Tuscaloosa and Birmingham also in this high-risk day. To put it into perspective, this is just the 5th high-risk day issued since 2020. So this is a very rare day. Tornado outbreak very likely tomorrow, and I'm going to show you that here. As we're waking up tomorrow morning, parts of Mississippi already starting to see these very strong thunderstorms. Most of these are rotating thunderstorms, bringing in long tracking violent tornadoes. Not necessarily to happen for sure, but very likely to happen. All of these, look at that dark purples in there, going to start to move its way through Alabama as we head into tomorrow night, and then move its way into Georgia and parts of the Panhandle early Sunday morning. So for our area tomorrow, we're going to get pretty warm. 87 in Gainesville, 89 in Ocala because of that warm air being brought up from the Gulf. And then Sunday, that severe risk, we are having a slight risk of severe weather for parts of north central Florida. Also a flash flood risk from these thunderstorms is going to be possible. And I'm going to show you these thunderstorms as they move into our area. Early Sunday morning, Tallahassee, going to get these strong thunderstorms. I mean, look at this. Dark purple right here. That's very strong thunderstorms. It's going to move its way into our area Sunday around the lunch hour. Very strong thunderstorms north of here in Lake City. It's going to be a very strong thunderstorm Sunday before it clears out of our area by Sunday night. So again, just to recap your weekend plans, if you have weekend plans on Saturday, great day to go outside, beautiful day, it's going to be pretty warm. And then Sunday, that's the day that severe weather is going to push through. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that. And then Monday, St. Patrick's Day. If you have any St. Patrick's Day plans on Monday, it's going to be a much nicer day on Monday with that severe weather being on Sunday.
Coming up in sports, Florida Gators men's basketball competes in the quarterfinal round of the SEC tournament against Missouri.
And I'm live inside of the O-Dome. And the number 3 Gators are taking on the number 12 Kentucky Wildcats. I have more details about this tough matchup after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back to sports. I'm Alyssa, Briton-Harr. The Gators start their push for another SEC championship when they take on Missouri tonight in the quarterfinals. The team wants to make a strong showing this weekend to prove why they should be a 1 seed when Selection Sunday rolls around. Todd Golden and Walter Clayton Jr. were named semifinalists earlier today for the Naismith Men's College Basketball Coach and Player of the Year. Golden touched on the impacts bringing home a conference and national championship would mean to this program.
Winning any championship in the SEC, especially this year, it's the best conference that college basketball has seen in 20 years. If we're able to go into national and win, it would be an incredible honor. And I think it's something that not only our staff, would look back on, but our players. Our players are really, really motivated.
The quarterfinals got underway earlier today. Auburn beat Ole Miss 62-57, and at last check, Tennessee leads 49-44 against Texas. And Florida tips off against Missouri at 7 p.m. Later tonight, Kentucky and Alabama will close out the evening. Saturday is the semifinals, and Sunday is the championship. The third-ranked Gators gymnastics team closes their regular season against number 10 Kentucky for senior night. Florida is coming off a season-best score on the road against Alabama, 198.25. WFT's Jordyn Banks is live from the Odom to detail this top 10 matchup and what the Gators need to do to come away with the win.
This matchup for the Gators will be a tough matchup, while this is the 5th top 10 opponent of the season for the Gators. Senior Sloan Blakely will be honored amongst others. Sloan ended her senior career a little earlier with an injury last month. Leanne Wong, the 2024 Paris Olympian, will have her final time on the mat in the O'Connell Center tonight. Both teams come into a top showing performance. Kentucky had a good run against Arkansas just recently, while the Gators had the best road showing of the year at Alabama. On top of Wong and Blakely are 4 other team members and 2 members of the coaching staff that will be honored in the meet tonight. While it is senior night, the first 1,000 fans will receive free Gator scrunchies. The meet time is at 6:45 p.m. Live inside of the Odom, I am Jordyn Banks, WUFT Sports.
Gators football is back in action as they prep for their spring game April 12th. Head coach Billy Napier spoke with the media last night about concerns of DJ Lagway not competing at full speed. Napier says he's happy with how his team is performing and his staff is working to keep Lagway engaged.
While he's going through this process, I think it's important that we challenge him. We still have to have a daily plan to keep him engaged. I think right now he's communicating with the other quarterbacks. He's calling in the plays in some periods, which is healthy.
The Gators softball team has only dropped 2 games so far this season and leads the nation in home runs. Part of their success lies with veteran leaders like senior Kendra Falby. WFT's Jordyn Banks filed this report earlier, speaking with Falby on her keys to success in her final season with the Gators.
Center outfielder Kendra Falby is a key player for this season's Florida softball team. In her final season as a Gator, she was able to accomplish a host of achievements. The Odessa native standing at 5'7" and the fastest on the team, Kendra Falby has made an instant impact on the Gators softball team since 2022. Since then, she has become a fan favorite, earning accolades such as All-SEC First Team, SEC All-Tournament Team, Rawlings Gold Glove winner, and she's loved accomplishing all of this as a Gator.
The school's amazing. Just like the people I've met on and off the field are some of like my best friends that I'll have for life, and just the person that they've made, like that I am today, is because of the people here, and I wouldn't change it for the world. If I could do it again, I would do it over again like 1,000 times.
Coming off the departure of former Gator Skylar Wallace, Falby knows she has big shoes to fill. Wallace was the SEC Player of the Year in 2023 and was a fan favorite of this Gator team last season. As one of the top defensive players in the SEC, Falby takes her position as the outfielder one step at a time.
The biggest thing for me is just taking it inning by inning. So like if I am in the field, the only thing I'm thinking about is the field. I'm not thinking about my last at bat or if I'm going to at bat. Like I focus on playing good defense and breathing. My biggest thing is breathing. Like I'm always like breathe, because like if I'm breathing and I'm in where my feet are, I'm gonna be fine.
Falby's young fans are her biggest supporters, with many kids looking up to her as a role model. As she's in her final season as a Gator, she continues to inspire the next generation.
All their dreams, give up the things that you don't want to give up. So if you can't go and hang out with your friends, it's okay, because it's going to be worth it in the end. And just continue to have a good attitude and work as hard as you can, because anything's possible.
Falby and the Gators are currently 27-2 and ranked #1 in the nation. Their next game is on March 15th against number 13 Texas at Katie Presley Stadium. In the studio, Jordyn Banks, WUFT Sports.
Don't miss the number 4 ranked Gators swim and dive team with 15 swimmers who qualify for the national championships. The championship will take place March 29th through 26th through 29th. We'll come back with one last check on the weather after the break.
Any Sunday plans may get canceled if you have Sunday plans outdoors on your weekend, as severe weather is pushing through. However, on Monday, that St. Patrick's Day, it's going to be a much nicer day outside. Look at that, high of 70 degrees. And we're going to kind of fluctuate, but we are still tracking that severe weather on Sunday.
Matthew, I'm looking forward to that calm after the storm for sure. But thank you for joining us. We're back here on Monday, March 24th for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all of our social medias. Have a good night.